So there are two variables that you need to assess for everyone within your team. And the first one is their ability to execute the task at hand. And note well, I said ability to execute the task at hand, not ability writ large.
Yes.
Because there's some instances, there's some tasks where I will show up as being highly competent. And there are other tasks where I will be floundering. So you can't just have a one-size approach, even to managing me.
Yes.
Because it depends on the task at hand. So the ability is the first thing you need to assess. The second thing is willingness. So you can think of it as a 2x2 matrix where you're mapping ability and willingness. So there's some tasks where I'll be both able and willing, and that's easy peasy, because what you need to do then is to leave me alone and let me do it.
Yes.
Right? So you can delegate and step back when you have made the determination in consultation with the individual that they are both able and willing to execute the function. What you do need to do is to establish a check-in system. So you can say, well, I am confident that you're both able and willing to execute this task. I just need you to let me know when you're done or if you run into any difficulty. Otherwise, you go do you. And so I think it would be helpful for our listeners if we run through the 4 elements. I dealt with the delegation.
Yes.
That is the appropriate approach when someone is both able and willing. But what if you have someone who is neither able nor willing? Let's say you have an intern who is, they're at CBC for the summer or for the holiday. They're there primarily because they need some money, because they may be a student and they, I need to, have some pocket change, or I need to get money to buy books or whatever it is. So they're there. Their primary motivation is to get the stipend.
Yes.
Right? What's the task at hand? They may be part of your production team, but they've never worked in that environment before. They don't know how to operate the cameras or whatever switches, whatever you use there. So they're unable and not so willing either. Okay? How do you deal with such an individual? You focus on being directive. Right? So you're going to tell them exactly what they need to do, when they need to do it, and how to get it done. You're not going to focus on developing relationship with that person, because they're not concerned about relationship either.
Yes.
Right? And your focus is get this task done. So that's how you deal with someone who's both unable and unwilling. The focus needs to be on the task, the right way to get it done. But let's say you have someone who is able. So let's say that same intern comes back for the second stint with you. So they know how to use the cameras and the switches and everything. But they're still not quite willing, right? Because again, they're just there because they need to get paid. At that time, you don't have to focus as much on the task because they understand the task now. What you start doing at that point in time is focusing on the individual to bring them along. Okay, so you're going to participate with them. You're going to engage with them. And so you have somebody who now, let's say, again, willingness is an issue. And again, because you're focusing on the relationship, you're going to try and find out, okay, how can, let's work on the attitude. How can I get you on board? What about this might you find interesting? What's in it for you for, being more engaged in this role? So that because again, the sweet spot is getting them to the point where they're both able and willing. And so it's important to look at it over a period of time and not just when you have something to get done. So don't look at it as just one transaction. Oh my gosh, now I have to go and do all of this just to get this task done. But you're pouring into the person so that they become better, they become more able, and they become more willing. And then you continue to build at that to get to a point, if you put the work in, that your people will all be able and willing. And if there are some instances, as you say, because there are new tasks that will come on board, but the willingness is already there. So it's not as heavy a lift to get the ability there as well.